Back like we never left,
Coach, let's start with this quick opening statement, then we'll take a few questions.
It's really nice to play a really good team opening match, especially at home. I thought the crowd was great, considering, especially no students here, so that was exciting, and they were into it. I think our team learned a lot in that first set about what it's going to take to be competitive at this level. Again, a lot of new pieces, but I thought we adapted well, and we out-hit them, we out-blocked them, we did everything else after the first set, so those are all good signs. But again, that grit, that toughness factor, what it's going to take, to win those due sets, that's where we're going to have to grow the most.
Questions? How much, set 1 to set 2 was adjusting to the opponent, and how much was it just kind of your group getting a feel for playing in a match together?
Yeah, they're fantastic, but I think it's a lot more about us in those first 2 sets. Again, a little bit added more service pressure. I think we got aced eight times in the first set or something like that. It was something crazy. And again, I just think it's a lot of being tentative, being cautious. It's what we saw in the exhibition with Oregon State that, been just trying to talk about. But, Oregon State, it was also with our serve. And again, I thought we didn't make many service errors, but also probably didn't provide enough pressure. Probably need to miss a few more, especially against that team. But again, once we calmed down, once we figured out our serve receive a little bit better of how we're going to move people around, we're playing point for point, and we just didn't execute quite enough. But again, I liked our fight in the second and third, and again, we were down and we kept siding out. So that's exciting, and then coming back, in the third and making a deuce again and having a chance. And again, you got a jump ball at the very end there that we lose. So again, just a lot to learn from this.
A lot of new faces for all of us, but it seemed like Sophie really had some good energy for you. What did you think of her in particular?
Yeah, when you're playing, what's really impressive is Babcock, we held to 0. And she's, one of the best offensive weapons in the country. So front row, back row. So having Mimi and Sophie on her provided a lot of enough pressure on her to hold her to that. So that was great. We just didn't do a good enough job on their lefts, to slow them down enough. And so we're going to have to figure that piece out a little bit more. But, I like that Sophie brought a really nice blocking presence. And I thought she had some nice attacking, throughout the match, just handling, the bad plays, and then a little bit more passing from her would be helpful.
What did you tell the team after the match?
Nothing. So we try not to meet after the match. So I find that we're generally pretty emotional, win or lose, after, and you always don't know exactly what you're looking at until you watch film. So a lot of my feelings that I give you guys right here, I go back and watch and I go, oh, I got that wrong, until I watch it. So I try to stay away from those emotional pieces until I can actually digest everything and then come back and say, here's what we did well, here's not what we need to work on. But again, if I'm guessing, it's just going to be, again, how we're going to, handle our service receive patterns. Again, we had 11 aces. That's a few too many. So you can't give away those points. That's really the difference of the match, in a lot of ways. And then just how to, make some better offensive choices. I thought we got slightly predictable, but we got to read their defense a little bit better.
How much of those kind of first set mistakes, specifically the aces, do you think was just, you kind of mentioned it, jitters? Do you feel like it was communication, a little bit of the chemistry? They're still trying to figure things out. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think, for example, number 5 serves, I think she had 3 aces in a row or whatever that was in the first set when things were really tight, and then that kind of gave them the advantage there. Those were the same serves for the rest of the match, and then she didn't have any success after that. So, I don't know that they did anything different. I think we adjusted. I think we calmed down. The matchups I was trying to get, we got in sets 2 and 3, and so I think that helped us. Didn't get them in set 1, and so again, that was a bad passing rotation to have with her serving. So that was a positive change there. But yeah, I thought we made the adjustments. We calmed down. Our eyes started adjusting to the serve and the pace of their attack.
What does experience tell you the repercussions of a match like this can be long term in terms of just what you can learn from it and take from it and the experience down the road of having banked a match like this?
To me, we'll see how the season goes, but to me, they're one of the contenders for the national championship. So again, we're playing point for point with them with a pretty brand new group. We just had the starting lineup together 2 days ago, which is the latest in my career that we've ever done that. But so trying to still figure out who we are and connections and things like that, learning how defense works in our team setting, what we do well, what we don't do well. So there's a lot to learn. But I hope what we can take away is, if we don't show up, and we don't have that type of attitude that we're going to have to really get dirty, to make plays. the first set 25-12 can happen. But when you have the right mindset, when we're really going for it, when we're playing our style, you're right there point for point with one of the best teams in the country, and that's what we can be.
Any confidence from a loss like this, more speaking from what you saw in the second and third sets going into obviously Sunday and then the rest of the season as well?
Yeah, I mean, again, we could not schedule this match. We could go play somebody that's an easy win, and everybody feels we're all smiling so much better. But what are you going to learn from that? And our conference is definitely going to show us what we can and can't do. So we need to learn now, before we get into Big Ten play. So again, just so super appreciative. Pittsburgh did not have to come back and return this, but they decided to, and I think that's huge for us. And Long Beach is going to be, I think, a tournament team also. So we get to turn around in different style of play, but have another really good battle, hopefully on our hands. And what hopefully we can learn from it is there's so much to learn from, and they exploited your weaknesses. They see exactly. Okay, well, a really good outside, this is how they're going to pick us apart. A really good middle, this is how they're going to pick us apart, or a good setter. And I thought they did that. I think, they're a really good serving team, and they showed us exactly how our rotations are going to work or not work, So a lot of the things that I wasn't sure about coming into this, I learned a lot about us, and hopefully the team learned a lot about, again, competitively what it's going to take in order to be successful at this level.
You have a time frame in mind, Matt, of when or if you want to tighten down the rotation at some point in non-conference before you get to Big Ten play, and what that timeline might be to kind of sort these things out?
Yeah, I mean, so last week in our exhibition with Oregon State, trying to see kind of all the options that we had, but that was already getting it down to 10 or 11 in the rotation, seeing what they were. And then we, a couple of days ago, got it down to what our starting lineup would be. And so I think we had the right, pretty much the right people out there in the right spots, just trying to figure out in each rotation, some of the Michelle and Sophie switches of maybe a little bit more ball control as opposed to a little bit more power of when to use that based upon who they had, the block that they had. And I thought we made some good adjustments. Again, you're right there. It's, again, our game is a crazy game where a couple point difference, everybody feels really good, But I thought we did a lot of good things, and I think the rotation's pretty close to probably what we'll be looking at.
Bonnie's performance, she had the fewest errors on attack, the team had blocks. It just feels like she's really living for this moment that she's been waiting for now.
I loved her energy. I thought it was great. I thought it was infectious. Again, the hard part is the first set we passed so poorly that you don't even notice her because we can't get her the ball. So we started to get some rhythm passing, so all of a sudden we can get her involved a little bit more. Again, we need to continue to control the ball better so we can get her more involved, but I think she only had 13 attempts. Like, that's not enough, but I mean, it's not horrible for as poorly as we pass. It's not bad, but we need to get her more, so we need to control that ball better. But she's really added a nice slide to her game, and that's another way to get her involved and take advantage of some matchups. So, but again, I thought her energy was great. She was really present on the block for us. I thought Noemi Glover had great energy and scored a lot of points. She was a go-to for us. Again, so can we just keep getting her involved? And so the lefts can focus more on ball control and, set those people up. But I thought those were some standouts.